So, Humboldt came out with their response to the whole Triploid Hermgate issue, but did it actually clear things up, or did the waters become even more murky? And I gotta say off the rip, shout out to Humboldt for coming out to try to clear the air, and big up to Homegrown TV, Basement Grow Show, and iCan for providing a platform for them to do that. Now, I got nothing against Humboldt, Dakota, Joe, Neil, and Heaven. They're all my good friends. We actually hung out in person a few times and had a blast in Vegas. And by the way, Grow Joe, aka Basement Grow Show, is not the same person as Welcome to the Grow Tent, aka GT. Just throwing that out there, because some of you seem to have thought that they were the same person. I don't know. Now, also, I want to make clear that I got no affiliations with Humboldt Seed Company. I never collaborated with them. They've never paid me anything. I ran some of their genetics, but that's about it. And those genetics I paid for myself. They owe me no loyalty, and I owe them no loyalty. Now, all that aside, I want to give my thoughts on the Humboldt response and see what you guys think, in particular in the comments down below. This episode is going to be as unbiased as possible, and I'm going to break things down so simple that even if it's your first time hearing Triploid or Herm, you'll definitely know what it is. And before any clowns say it's all about the views and match chasing the views or the clout, it's actually not, fam. Stupid. But rather it's about the knowledge. Knowledge is power.
What do you mean by that?
If you don't talk about it or raise awareness, people eventually try to take us for fools like the government is doing right now with the rescheduling. So miss me with that crap. If no one spoke about the Triploid Herm issue, then no one would even know about it. Some people may be too ashamed to even come forward and talk about it, thinking that the issues were their self-inflicted issues. So now that that's out of the way, you gotta respect the Humboldt guys, Ben and Nat, for coming on to Do the Live Show and trying to clear the air, knowing pretty well that they can be roasted. It takes a lot of balls to do that, no pun intended. Now, while unfortunately other companies out here, they would act like nothing ever happened. Now, before we get too deep into this episode, I just gotta let y'all know that I did not catch the live show, but I did watch the replay, and a few times well. I watched the live chat for the entire thing, and I read every single comment, every single message that was sent in that live chat from the community, so I pretty much felt like I was there, even though I was not able to contribute, which I would have loved to, but hey, we moved. So it's clear that the Triploid wave is causing a lot of debate and sparking a lot of interest as home growers look for the new best genetics. But as with anything new, there can be a teething period. Now, I did a few videos on Triploids breaking down exactly what they are, so definitely check those out. But in a nutshell, a diploid is a plant characterized by having 2 chromosomes, but in certain rare organisms, they possess multiple chromosomes. In some cases, plants can even develop naturally 3 chromosomes, and that makes them triploids. Now, this phenomenon has in recent years piqued the interest of growers who are deliberately breeding triploid cannabis. They typically start with a standard diploid plant, select high-performing clones, and then apply a natural chemical agent that interferes with the cell division process. Now, triploids haven't just been causing a buzz for us home gardeners, but also the wider can community. So much so that Forbes did an article on it on the 15th of February 2024. This caused a lot of people to stand up and take note. Talks of patents spread wild as people compared it to other fruits like bananas, and even accused companies of trying to patent the plant and its various strains. But truth be told, the application of triploids is not a new concept in agriculture at all. Think of bananas, for instance. Bananas lack seeds because the parent banana tree is a triploid, even though pollination normally occurs. Consuming seedless fruit generally enhances the experience for most people.
Nice.
Typically, a species with a chromosome set divisible by 2 can produce seeds, but those with uneven sets of chromosomes are either sterile or do not produce seeds. So the idea is that a triploid with 3 sets of chromosomes will not produce seeds. But Rob from CLTV said that his own self-pollinated and began to produce tiny white seeds, which leads one to think that seed production actually did begin but just did not reach completion. Now, you're probably wondering, how is this good for us home growers? Well, lots of articles like Forbes and companies like Humboldt Seed Company have marketed these new canna triploids as the future of cultivation. They literally stated this on their website, so I ain't capping right now. But they also claim benefits like bigger yields, enhanced potency, stronger flower, and statistics like 10 to 20% more productive, over 30% THC, and 99% sterile. Now, all these figures are on their website, so check it out if you want to have a look. Now, Humboldt actually said that with these triploids, the trichromes were pretty frosty.
There's it's like Dr. Seuss trees in there, like, trichrome trees, branching trichromes, just trichromes that look like octopuses and things, or the snail trichromes. Like they're structures I've never personally seen before. So I think it's still worth the investigation, and I still think that it's an amazing, step forward.
The issue though is not the fact that he called it trichromes, multiple times, nor is the issue the Triploid themselves, because like I said, this concept is nothing new. However, around the mid to end of 2023, the Triploids began to feature heavily on social media and people began to wonder what all the buzz was about. Mind you, this was a couple months before the Forbes article was put out in February of 2024. Now, I was able to get my hands on some Humboldt Triploid seeds when I went out to MJ Biz in Vegas in November of 2023, and massive thanks to them for hooking that up. But a few months later, by the time January 2024 rolled around, the Triploid hunt was in full effect and there were promotions everywhere on YouTube, social media, Instagram, and all sorts promoting these new Triploid seeds. Now this is where things start to get hot and feisty. Humboldt is $1 million US company and they've been operating in the industry for a long time.
We've been making seeds here in Humboldt County since, like Ben said, you know, I used to have to wear ski masks when I was growing. And so we've seen it all. We've been through the trenches, and I mean, we had the strain blueberry muffin, and literally there were millions of clones sold all over California with that strain.
When news broke of the Triploid hunt on social media, literally hundreds, if not thousands of people swarmed the Humboldt website and bought these seeds, and they sold out pretty fast, despite being at a higher price point. Tons of people were growing them in this huge community grow along, with over 400 people growing these packs of seeds in the Triploid hunt and posting pictures to Discord, Instagram, and everywhere you could think of. And that's awesome. Being able to pull together 400 plus home growers to unite to do this community grow along, it's an awesome idea, whoever came up with it. And truth be told, the grow along is not the problem at all either. There are loads of community grow alongs that happen all the time. Heck, Grow Diaries is basically one massive community grow along. But regardless of how you feel about that, I digress. Like I said, the issue is not the grow along, but rather what happened in the grow along. So as some people's grows progressed, they were really happy. Home gardening is a labor of love. You spend time, effort, and cash on gardening. From the seeds, which aren't cheap, and we'll get into that in a bit, to nutrients, tools, electricity, and more. So you can understand why some growers, when they transitioned to flower from veg and found that their plants were throwing up balls and herming out, people were damn pissed off and took to social media to express their experiences and see if anyone else had the same issue. Now it's important to note that Triploids can make nanners, but pollen is supposed to be non-viable, which suggests that it won't pollinate your other plants, but the issue popped up in other gardens and the concern spread along other gardens as well. And lo and behold, at least 12 other people that we know of came out and said that they also had a similar experience. These included people who were in the grow along, content creators, influencers, and home growers alike. So it seems that it was pretty widespread. Now some gardeners just cut the balls off, plucked the nanners, but others didn't want to risk it. I mean, who wants to inadvertently smoke plant pollen anyway? Having pollen in your tent, even if it's not viable, can affect the quality of your final product and may change the composition of that final product. So I'm not sure how I feel about that. Bruh. Don't mind me, I'm just sipping my tea. Radio silence or moving in silence. Now again, herming is not the issue, guys. A lot of breeders have genetics that herm. In particular, there are feminized genetics that always have that risk, particularly when you try to manipulate nature. But the first real thing that pissed people off is how things unfolded once they found out that there were herms in their tents and they wasted effort, time, and money that they'll never get back. So like I said, some people took to social media to express their frustrations, and some shared pictures and servers like Discord. Some people tagged Humboldt Seed Company on Instagram, sent emails, DMs, but there was radio silence. Bruh. Now, radio silence is fine. Sometimes companies just need time to know that there's an issue and address it, or sometimes they aren't even aware of the issue at all, literally blind to the fact that it's happening. But that's not necessarily what happened here, because some eagle-eyed, super smart stoners figured out Humboldt caught wind of the situation and took to their website to change the description to state recommended for outdoor use only. And the price seemed to have gone down. So everyone who paid that higher price immediately felt double pissed off. Now I don't know about you, but bruh.
Hey, what's up everybody? 6/16, May 5th. I just wanted to make this video really quick. So I'm on Humboldt Seed Company /donut Triploids. I'm on their site and recommended for outdoor only. That wasn't there before, I don't think. I know it wasn't there. And then, you know, here's some science-y stuff, some videos about how it's, you know, supposed to be great for extraction, blah, blah, blah. Greenhouse, high depth, high outdoor, high extraction. Yeah, that's not what it said before. What's going on? Well, if we go to a website called the Wayback Machine, you can go to the Donut Triploids website from February 15th. And on the site, you see it's a little different. This is grayed out, I'm assuming, because it's like a like an archive video or something, but there's nothing about it being an outdoor strain only. Okay, well then let's go into here. Performance, greenhouse, high depth, high outdoor, high indoor. So they've removed that as of sometime between February 15th and today. I wonder if it's after everyone's been getting Herms inside. Is this them protecting future buyers of this? Or is this them protecting themselves? I don't know, because I don't know their motives. But when I see something like this, I go, oh, they changed it. They're not promoting indoor use with the triploids anymore. Huh. Yeah, I don't know, guys. Think what you want on this one, I guess. Tell me what you think in the comments. I don't know.
So for tons of people who are indoor gardeners, many of them living in states or countries with 4 climates who literally can't grow outdoors or don't have the luxury of California's sweet sunshine, they were like, what the hell just happened? Was I just duped? And by the way, you can grow indoors in California, but growing outdoors depends on local regulations and it's actually banned in many places, even in California. Now before I give my thoughts on this, I'll let the Humboldt guys explain what happened here themselves.
So yeah, for the website, I guess I take some responsibility for that. It was kind of just like a perfect storm situation. The price change was completely unintentional. What we do is there's like kind of a blanket graphic for when an item becomes sold out. And so what we saw from the Wayback Machine was we saw the item in stock, listed at the correct price. And then we saw the item currently, which is out of stock, and there was just a blanket graphic that gets applied to every variety, no matter what it is, when it's out of stock. And every other variety in our catalog is all the same price. So there's never been a specialized graphic made for the donuts, and that's why we saw the price drop. It's been corrected now, so I appreciate people commenting and appreciate bringing it to my attention, because I would have never caught that error.
What about the indoor outdoor
So
shit?
people that are saying that the Herm situation and the website situation are related, that they're completely unrelated situations, is what you're saying?
When it rains, it's a perfect storm. When it rains, it pours kind of scenario. For the recommendation for outdoor cultivation, that started because we were getting a lot, and we were noticing ourselves too that the donuts triploid has a massive stretch, and we were getting some people emailing us telling us about it. We were noticing it ourselves in our spaces, and that combined with then getting a couple of emails, getting a couple of text messages from Dakota saying, hey, a couple people in the hunt are finding some intersex traits, and then hi again, you guys finding some as well. I was like, well, maybe we should, and we were about to re-release the donuts triploids, so I wanted to make sure that anyone purchasing donuts triploids was aware of the situation, was properly warned about how big these things are going to get. They might not fit in your tent, and you might find a small cluster of intersex traits at the moment, like at the point when the plant's going essentially when the plant's going through puberty and hasn't developed the pathways for producing ethylene yet. You can sometimes get that little cluster of flowers, and just wanted people to know. So I put way more information out there now.
Okay, so you were just making website changes and then you were sold out. So then, and basically it was all kind of happening at once.
Yeah, it was completely, we weren't really aware of, like, the videos hadn't come out yet. Nothing, we didn't really know.
Now, if some of you guys are still scratching your heads, don't worry, I sort of am too. On top of feeling like I just ran around in circles while trying to pull teeth from a baby elephant with no teeth, what you guys did not see is that at the beginning of the interview, one of the hosts actually asked Humboldt if they tested the triploids, and they responded yes, over more than 3 years of testing and researching for almost a decade.
These seeds that the people are growing, how long do you think, like if you could put it in a time frame, a year, 5 runs, how many cycles do you think those seeds have been tested before they were available to the community?
These seeds have been tested for at least 3 years. And then, like, if you talk, like, and count all the research that happened before that, I mean, we've been working on this project for, since we first, discovered that triploids exist in cannabis from that OG plant I found, I don't even know, 8 or 9 years ago at this point.
So it's fair to say it's been a while.
It's been a minute, and that's why it's been like 9 years of cumulative effort to actually get this to a point where we felt like it was, appropriate to release to the public.
So my burning questions here are that through all this extensive testing, there was no issue at all, not even a Herm in one single plant? And did you really test indoors in tents or only outdoors in the fields of California? Because it seems to me that you guys only realized that these plants were so stretchy that they weren't recommended to be grown indoors after the triploid hunt community grow already started and you guys raised $180,000. Hashtag asking for a friend. Needless to say, the community was not impressed. And 15 minutes after the clip I just showed from that interview, the story changed.
We definitely could have done some more R&D indoor, but we did do some, and we didn't do thousands of them indoors. We did thousands of them all over California last summer at Casa Flor, at Burr's Place, at Ben's, at my farm. I'm not even really capturing all of the different places that we did R&D, but a lot of different farms.
So I don't know. Again, I'm gonna just have to sip my tea. Now, some people say they should have tested longer. Some people say that it's a new thing, so it needs time to develop and perfect. Others say that it was all very shady and they should have never brought the genetics to market when they knew it was recommended for outdoor use only, or it was not properly fully tested. But that's something I want to hear you guys' thoughts on, so drop it in the comments down below and let me know what you think about that. Personally, I think a simple statement published on your website in text, or even a simple 5-minute video statement explaining to your customers what's going on the Humboldt YouTube channel, which by the way has over 30,000 subscribers, with videos posted as recently as 2 months ago, with one of these videos amassing almost 750,000 views, over 750,000 views, and one a video about triploids with the comments turned off. A little strange, but that would have been a way more effective way than what I think you guys did on that live stream. Now instead, when people reached out, they were blanked on email, they were blanked on call, social media, even though Humboldt by their own admission said that they don't have a social media manager and they manage all the accounts and messages, comments, likes, and shares all go directly to them.
Hannah, who sits across the room from me right there, this is the office. She's not here at the moment because she's in the other room, but she has been saying, in the last week, we've been getting, and it particularly yesterday, we were getting just tons and tons of questions and a million phone calls. And because we're not completely and totally accessible 24 hours of the day. We are in California, and so there's a big time difference, and so that changes things for some people on the coast.
And you guys aren't the ones directly managing like the Instagram and stuff, so it's like comments that go through there. It's not you guys on there reading it and stuff like that. It's got to filter down.
We are. I run the Instagram and Allie. We don't hire anybody to do that stuff for us, but no, it says right on there, like, no DMs. And obviously we are down for DMs, but we would really, really prefer that people email us or call us on our phone number here listed on our website, and email us through the website. And the reason for that is just because we don't own Instagram, and we also just don't really never know what they're going to do to us. And so we run into problems with that. And while it's not like we've never answered a DM on Instagram, don't get me wrong, but we don't even see the ones where we don't follow people. And like literally we haven't followed anybody in a long, long time because, and that's not because we don't want to, it's just because it's overwhelming. And there's like a limit we found out just recently. You can only follow 7,500 people.
So,
now I get it, you guys are busy, it's a small team running massive farms, and you may not always be on IG, but that doesn't explain why when you got word of it before responding to customers, you changed the website.
I don't like where this is going.
Now, they said they wanted people to email, but lots of people say they never get a response when they email. Humboldt also said that they hadn't been posting on social media recently because their account was taken down by Instagram and they were scared of it being taken down again, which is complete folly in my opinion, because that very day there were tons of foul pictures reshared on their Instagram story. But again, I don't know.
Stupid. Getting messages, and this is word for word, Rob. Any reason Nat and Ben aren't addressing any of this stuff directly, meaning on your guys' social media? To me, it feels that they won't do it on their own, to me, it feels odd that they won't do it on their own platforms. So what do you guys have to say about the not being able to address or answer anyone directly yet?
I mean, we got our Instagram deleted a month and a half ago, and we just haven't even hardly been using. We're like scared to use it because you just never know when they're going to take it away from you.
Understandable.
Yeah.
The other thing is that, like, I don't know. I mean, this is not really any excuse, but this is like the craziest time of year. We have a nonprofit that we help local Native youth programs. For the last 3 days, I was helping carve redwood canoes out. Apparently, my eyes cannot deal with sawdust from redwood. And so I've just been like online up on the Yurok reservation carving canoes with kids for the last 4 days. And, kind of just getting back to it. And certainly none of this was like intentional. I mean, Ben said we should maybe tell people that they shouldn't be doing these things indoor. And then we started like trying to figure out, well, how many actual, this is a high profile thing. So I think we kind of knew going into it that if there was something that was less than ideal, that it could mean a bunch of scrutiny. And here we are.
So I don't know how we got from posting on IG to cutting down canoes with kids for 4 days and non-profits, but in my experience, your IG usually gets taken down for posting content that goes against IG's guidelines. Similarly with YouTube, you post a video that goes against their guidelines, they're going to remove it. You might get a strike as well. And because our favorite plant is still federally illegal and illegal in a lot of jurisdictions worldwide, YouTube's got to play by the rules. Instagram's no different. But let's be honest here, guys. Posting a text statement on IG is absolutely fine. As is also responding to people's DM. That's also absolutely fine. Lots of stuff goes down in the DMs and people never get removed for that. And if you guys didn't want to make a public statement, you got an email list with all your customers who checked out after making a purchase on your website. Send them an email. It's that simple. Now, Ben from Humboldt said that when it rains, it pours, referring to the plants herming out or showing intersex traits as they prefer to say, and the website having that weird out-of-stock placeholder and description change after they realized the issue was an issue.
Herms, balls, intersex traits, whatever we're going on here.
The indoor outdoor.
So
shit,
people that are saying that the Herm situation and the website situation are related, that they're completely unrelated situations, is what you're saying.
When it rains, it's a perfect storm. When it rains, it pours kind of scenario.
Now for me, the second big issue is that lots of growers spent their hard-earned dollars on these packs of seeds that were not cheap. I believe they went for $30 a seed, and Humboldt said they sold over 6,000 seeds. On the interview, they actually pulled up this data within seconds and told everyone they sold 6,000 seeds.
Final count just now of how many triploid donuts were sold in packs. So it was roughly about 6,000 total.
Wow.
Seeds.
So by my basic stoner math, that puts us at over $180,000. Personally, I've never even seen that much money in my whole life. So yeah, no small return. That sort of money can definitely change someone's life. Now from my perspective, as a guy working 2 jobs to put food on the table, and while we're in the middle of an inflation crisis here in America, when we're talking about making over $180,000, it's hard to feel sorry for Humboldt with the "when it rains it pours" line. Like one of the dudes said in the live chat during the interview, "When it rains it pours." Yeah, like Lil Wayne.
Got a head full of stacks, better grab an umbrella. I make it right, I'm in this bitch with terror. Got a head full of stacks, better grab an umbrella. I make it right, make it rain on the
be making it rain with dollars all over this bitch, baby. And on that note, many people were calling for refunds, and I see how this can be tricky with banks being involved. And also, not everyone is guaranteed to get a hermaphrodite plant, but those that do should definitely get some form of redress. I know that there are places that will replace your seeds or even give you store credit. Now, in that Humboldt interview, there were arguments that the number of Herms found among the 6,000 seeds is small, with only a small number of people reporting Herms.
And the numbers seem realistic. Like we had 12 Herms out of 6,000 seeds. Like there's no really cause for, why would we do I just don't get it.
But this is also where people actually raise valid counter-arguments and valid points that not everyone who purchased the seeds might be in the grow-along. Not everyone who purchased will know what Discord is or be an active member in the Discord chats. Some folks don't even have Facebook or Instagram, but they do watch YouTube. Some folks live in prohibition states and can't post or enter grow-alongs legally, so they just do it in private and don't tell anyone about it. Some people probably didn't even pop their whole pack, so the numbers of Herms that went unreported may actually be higher than what we know. Now personally, my Donuts Triploid seedlings had both germination and seedling issues when other seeds I popped around the same time were fine. Not saying it was down to the seeds being triploids, but there were other reports during the live interview with Humboldt that other people had germination issues as well. Not the influencer's fault.
Or is it?
Now, some people say that the influencers may have gotten a kickback through discount codes and gotten part of that $180,000. I really can't say that because I wasn't part of the Triploid hunt or the organization of it. I know nothing that went on the back end. And while some of these influencers may have been keen promoting the Triploid hunt, like I said, grow-alongs have been a thing in the community for such a long time. The Triploids are novel and issues were bound to arise with teething. The creators who were in the grow-along also ended up with Herms. Some of them were still pushing through, some of them cut their losses, but Homegrown TV, Basement Grow Show, and iCan, they provided a platform where over 800 people turned up live to hear what Humboldt had to say, and no matter what you think about the interview itself, this gave Humboldt the opportunity to clear things up, and personally, I think Humboldt sort of dropped the ball here. Now, what to think of it all? Now, you guys watching right now, you guys will stand where you stand. Some people love Humboldt, and some people will continue to support, while others will probably explore other options. Personally, I met the Humboldt guys, and they seem like cool guys, but I don't know them all that well, so I can't speak on what their true intentions or motives were or were not. I did find in that interview where they were meant to clear the air, there were tons of ahs, and a lot of pauses and thinking and delays when they were asked very direct questions. And lots of these questions I'm still looking for the answers for, because honestly they just weren't there. Lots of people said that they were politicians' answers, and lots of deflecting and diverting was going on, and to some extent I'd have to agree. Lots of people interpreted this whole community triploid hunt as a massive paid tester program where Humboldt was able to rake in the bag and home whole growers balls to the wall knowing that there'll be no legal repercussion. And here's what they had to say about that.
One here from Home Grows with a double Z. I'm going to just ask him exactly as they're read. And this is, why do I feel like the community was used as a testing tool? They themselves didn't test. Was it too eager for money?
Yeah, for being eager for money, the amount of time and energy we've put into developing these seeds, we've never seen a profit from that. We've obviously charged money for them, but it doesn't equate to the time and energy and money we've spent actually getting to the point of being able to create them. We never intended to use the community as a laboratory. I mean, as a testing ground by any means. I mean, you folks saw that last year on the Pheno Hunt videos. Like that's our testing grounds. Is like we put stuff out there in a big way. Here in California before it ever goes anywhere else. We have great relationships with, with licensed and traditional farms all over Cali that, run, hundreds and thousands of plants that we'll be able to go through the field and see if there's any, if there's any issues or how stable something is, if something's smelling, on point, if something's testing high enough before we ever release anything in seed form to the general public. So we've done our best. I mean, we definitely could test more indoors. We don't have a lot of access. We have pretty limited access to indoor grow spaces, just because we live in Cali, so it's never really been a big living in Humboldt, living in central California. It's like outdoors kind of perfect. It's a perfect climate to grow plants outside. So we've never had the need. Until now. We did grow some last year and didn't have any issues though.
But that said, it does seem that their reputation as one of the top breeders in the game did come under attack. At this point, it doesn't seem that the refunds or replacements are likely, and it seemed that Humboldt sort of thinks that this issue is being a little bit blown out of proportion.
I just feel terrible that we're trying to shit on it. I feel terrible that we're trying to beat it down.
And everybody's been testing along with us.
Don't you guys? I read on your website, you guys have a guaranteed thing anyways. Like, people are going to get seeds. Like, they're going to give you guys seeds if you got Herms or you had all kinds of Herms. They're going to take care of you guys. They're good guys. Am I right on that? Like, you guys are going to take care of these people that legitimately bought seeds and are not taking advantage of the free seeds replacement things? Like, is that what we're doing here?
I'm worried. I'm curious to see if there actually is a problem or if it's something that's being kind of a little bit blown out of proportion. I'm curious if the intersex traits we're seeing are producing seeds or are producing viable pollen that would be, detrimental to a crop. And if so, that would be terrible. But we haven't seen that yet. A little too early to tell. I think it's really too early to tell in general, what if there even is a problem.
They also said that it can be grower error, which may be flowering the plants too young or not vegging long enough, but saying it's the grower's fault is a risky game to play in this situation.
We forget that, there's regular growers in here too, right? Like, a lot of us only been growing for 4 or 5 years. So it's that could have an issue too. Plus, I remember, I don't know where I seen it too, but could there be a maturity in the plant as well? On the first batch, guys, where it could possibly give those Herm traits? Is that something, Ben?
A maturity of the plant itself.
The plant doesn't really know what to do before you flip the flower?
So this is my personal just observation and theory of potentially why you would see localized intersex traits at a lower node. And it has to do with, if you think of a plant as a human, and the human's growing up, and then it goes through puberty, and not until after it goes through puberty is it capable of reproducing. So we're creating these environments inside. We're feeding the plant certain nutrients to try to get them to grow faster, to veg or to flower. And if the plant hasn't developed those internal mechanisms, those internal pathways, in this case would be the production of ethylene, which tells the plant that, hey, I'm a female and I'm going to produce female flowers. So if there's an interruption or a localized stress during that time of its life, I feel that there's a potential that maybe what we're seeing is at that moment, that's when the plant was going through puberty. The pathways were kind of confused. Maybe we were feeding, maybe there was too much nitrogen at that moment. Maybe there was, it was just too young to try to go into flower, and the, ethylene synthase wasn't actually up and running at that point in full effect. So there is potential that could be the case, that it was, flowered when they were too young, with too much nitrogen, but I don't know. And I think the jury is still out if this is actually a widespread problem. I know we're seeing it in a higher number than what we would want, but at the same time, it is life, and life will always find a way. So as long, we're seeing it's 0.1% at the moment is what we're seeing for this specific trait.
Now, Grower Joe, Basement Grow Show, tried to defend Humboldt during the interview, saying that they're doing great things in the industry when it comes to triploids, and I would have to agree. The first triploids that I heard of people growing, and I actually grew myself, were Humboldts, but I do think that customers also have a right to demand explanations, or at the very least, a bit of clarity. And if they feel they're being spoon-fed some wishy-washy stupid stoner answer, when their $300 pack of seeds promised so much and end up herming out, they'll rightly be pissed off and disappointed.
I'm reading through the chat here, guys, and I'll be honest with you, chat, I'm disappointed in you. And I'm speaking for myself. I'm not speaking for anyone else on this panel, but I'm disappointed in the chat. I'm disappointed in the chat because we got two guys here that are making changes in the cannabis space and you guys are talking bullshit and fucking bullshit upon bullshit in the chat, all right? These genetics have been tested, number one. Okay, and I don't give a fuck if I'm putting my reputation on the line right now, but I'm willing to do it, and I'm looking directly in the camera. There's a lot of you fuckers out there trying to ruin a good thing, and I'm sorry, guys, for speaking on this. I apologize. Listen, these genetics have been tested. We got 12 Herms out of 6,000. People out there talking about bullshit of people making money and making money. They're in business of making genetics and selling seeds, which comes with making money, guys. All right, so get your head out of your ass there. All right, the refund thing, we're going to touch on that. But you're being disrespectful and you're being fucking weasels. I'm going to get off this live if it doesn't change, boys. Can we get to the refund shit? Are we going to refund these people that have Herms?
That doesn't really make them weasels, and I ain't nobody's daddy, so I can't tell grown man or woman how to act. These people spend their hard-earned dollars and they want answers. But did Humboldt Seed Company do a good enough job in providing those answers and explaining the whole controversy? Will you remain loyal to Humboldt Seed Company, or will you be looking for your next pack of beans elsewhere? Drop it in the comments down below and let me know. Thanks for watching.